Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something that really reshaped a whole continent's music scene. We're talking about Tresor.
That's right. And this is so much more than just a club. Tresor, it literally means safe or gold vault in German.
Right.
Founded in Berlin in '91, and it became this essential bridge. It connected the sound of Detroit techno to this raw, new energy in post-Cold War Berlin.
Okay, so let's set the scene here. The Berlin Wall comes down in '89. Suddenly you have this power vacuum.
A total power vacuum, and all these abandoned buildings, especially in the East, these like lawless zones that were perfect for underground culture to just explode.
And Tresor's location was key, wasn't it?
It was everything. It opened in the actual vault of an old bombed-out department store. I mean, literal steel and concrete safe room.
Wow.
And that image, that sound of this heavy pounding bass seeping out from behind these massive iron doors, it was just so symbolic.
It's like the music was literally being unlocked.
Exactly. The space itself was an instrument. And that whole aesthetic, this kind of urban ruin culture, Tresor really pioneered that for Berlin.
But that raw industrial look must have been, I mean, did officials see it as just gritty or was it seen as dangerous?
Oh, in the beginning, it was just chaos. They were operating in a total gray area.
Oh.
But that rawness was the perfect incubator for the music that defined the decade.
The music, right. This is where Detroit comes in.
This is where Detroit comes in. Tresor became the launch pad for Detroit techno in Europe. We're talking about the absolute godfathers.
His Belleville 3.
The Belleville 3, Juan Atkins, Derek May, Kevin Saunderson, and then, Jeff Mills, Underground Resistance. They all made Tresor their European home.
So what did they find in Berlin that they weren't getting back in Detroit?
They found an audience that just got it. The sound of Detroit, that industrial, mutualistic, almost political sound, it just resonated perfectly with the energy of a city that was physically stitching itself back together.
And the record label was just as crucial, right? Tresor Records.
Absolutely. The label also started in '91, basically defined the sound. It was hard, it was minimalist, and it became the absolute backbone of '90s European techno.
So if you wanted to understand that sound, what would you listen to?
You'd go straight to the source. You have to listen to Jeff Mills' Waveform Transmission series or Robert Hood's Internal Empire.
Ah, a masterpiece.
A total masterpiece. Or even Drexia's Neptune's Lair. These weren't just dance tracks. They were like architectural blueprints for a new sound. They proved how powerful techno could be with just a few core elements.
And this sound, this intensity, it also created a different kind of social scene. Tell us about the 24-hour club culture that Berlin is so famous for.
Well, that was almost an accident of history. In those early days, there were basically no rules, no regulations.
So the music just never stopped.
It never had to stop. And that created this sense of timelessness, of total escape, which was critical to the whole experience.
I mean, that's incredible. So this one club becomes so important that the city of Berlin eventually recognizes clubbing as a vital part of its brand.
Yes. They realized this culture was their new identity. So when the original club had to close in 2005, it was a huge deal.
But it came back.
It came back in 2007 in an old power plant. An even bigger, more industrial space that was, if anything, an even better fit. It cemented its status as a pilgrimage site.
People often call Tresor the founder and Berkane the successor. Is that a fair comparison?
I think so. Tresor was this unique intersection of history, architecture, and sound. It took this futuristic music from Detroit, dropped it into the rubble of the Cold War, and turned techno from a trend into a global, lasting culture.
So a final thought for you to take away. If a building's past life as a locked vault could shape the future of an entire genre of music, what other repurposed urban spaces out there might hold the key to the next cultural revolution? You want to dig deeper, we really recommend exploring the early Tresor compilation series.